Well, I'm deeply grateful for all of your coming today. Over the past few months, we've had an extraordinary momentum in the campaign, and especially in the last several weeks, where the momentum continues to grow, not just in Iowa, but across the country. One of the questions that is often posed to us is, now that you are truly gaining in the national polls, and we are in a position to continue toward the nomination, do we have the necessary infrastructure in place to actually carry the campaign all the way to the nomination and to the White House? And the answer for us has always been, yes, we do. And the same kind of enthusiasm that we've seen that got us to this point, we believe will continue to carry us on. But we also recognize the need of bringing in the level of expertise that we want, and today we are able to announce. As many of you know, our campaign has really been somewhat of a surprise to many people because we have not had the level of resources that the other campaigns have had. Frankly, we don't regret that because we've been able to run a very disciplined and frugal campaign and to get where we are, not because we spent the most money, but because our volunteers, our people, had the kind of heart that literally drove us beyond just what money could buy. Today I'd like to make an announcement that I believe will help to fill in many of the gaps that we've had up until this point and will help us in that vast national infrastructure and movement. Ed Rollins, who has served Presidents Nixon, Ford, and Reagan, and has held significant positions in a number of White House staffs, including running the 1984 campaign for President Ronald Reagan. That was the largest landslide campaign in the history of the United States, where 49 states were carried by President Reagan, has agreed to come on as our national campaign chairman and as senior advisor to the campaign. He will join our campaign manager, Chip Saltzman, in overseeing the big picture of the campaign, but will also work directly with me as a senior advisor, as well as with Chip Saltzman in Little Rock, and be available to us and help us to take it to the next level and to the next step. Ed Rollins is a name very familiar in American politics. His extraordinary record of helping to bring achievement and victory to presidential campaigns is certainly well known, so I don't have to read a lengthy biography. But obviously we're quite pleased in that Ed will help us not only to assemble an expanding team, but also to give us the kind of really experience that he has had, and it will be a tremendous benefit to us. This is not to say that we're not extremely grateful for the people who have gotten us here so far. In fact, the amazing thing for all of us is the dedication and the professionalism and the sheer quality of every single person, whether it's volunteers who pay their own way to move to Little Rock from places all over the country when they never even been to Little Rock before, to people who are here in Concord today, who moved here from Oregon to be a part of our New Hampshire operation and will be here through the primary. That's been the secret weapon for the campaign. A lot of people have never understood it. If we had to pay all the people that are working full-time for us, it would have taken all the money that the other candidates have had. But fortunately for us, we have people who are dedicated not to their paycheck, but to their country in a way that is simply amazing to me. And as a result, there has been a growing momentum. Today, with extreme joy, pleasure, and excitement, that I present to you National Campaign Chairman and Senior Advisor, Ed Rollins.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to announce that I've never played baseball, never taken steroids, never been drug tested. Anyone who does campaigns for as long as I have maybe should be drug tested, but the reality is thank you for all turning out today. I'm very excited about this campaign, and I've been around this game for a long time, and I can tell you, I knew all the candidates. I've been very friendly with many of them who are running. We have some very, very significant people running for president this year. And I've known Rudy Giuliani, and I've known Thompson, and I've known all these guys for many, many years. The guy I knew the least was Mike Huckabee. I knew who he was. I knew what he'd done in Arkansas. But over the last 6 months, I have watched him build this campaign and build his own communication skills to inspire people to where I think we're in a very exciting place. We're on the verge of winning Iowa. We're on the verge of coming back here and doing very well in this state. We're ahead in many other states. But the critical factor that always occurs in getting off the plane yesterday in the snow, it was very nice in New Hampshire, to remind me of how wonderful it is in the wintertime. And if we didn't have a snowstorm, it wouldn't be New Hampshire. But to come here and be reminded of the first time I came here was 1976 with Ronald Reagan. And we lost a very close election, as you may remember. No, none of you were alive then, so you're all kids. But we lost a very close election to Gerald Ford. We came back in 1980 and we won here. It was very, very important. The people of this state look hard and pay a lot of attention to politics, and they don't make up their mind oftentimes till late. So we are very encouraged about our opportunities here. More important, there are a lot of people around this country, not in Washington, not on Wall Street, who are looking for a candidate that can appeal both to Republicans, mainline Republicans, but also to Democrats and independents. And that's what it takes to win a presidential election. Obviously, the primary, you reach out to conservative voters, you reach out to those who participate in the process. But I think the key thing here is that we're going to build an infrastructure that once this great momentum moves forward, it won't get sunk by lack of an infrastructure. And I think that's the key challenge that we have ahead. Equally as important, the financial resources are coming in. You know, this started out being an election unlike any I've ever seen. And as I said, I've been around here for 40 years. This became an election that was so front-loaded that it kind of became, if you weren't rich or you weren't famous, you weren't going to have much of a chance. And I think what Mike Huckabee has proven on this side and what Barack Obama has proven on the Democratic side is the voters are the ones that are going to make up their mind. And they're going to pick and choose who they want to. And there's no such thing as an inevitable nominee. Equally as important, we know as a front-runner, it's now our turn in the box, as they say. And there'll be lots of things that will be put forth, and everything you've ever done as a governor, everything you've ever done as a preacher will be looked at as it should be. Equally as important, we will always be prepared to give you the answers when you ask for them. We have a first-rate press operation, but it becomes very, very important. We know that your job is a critical job, and it'll be up to us to make sure that when you have questions about something that happened, you have questions about what we're going to do, we're going to try and be a very open, very candid campaign. And obviously, as you may know by my reputation in the past, I've sometimes been too candid. But at the end of the day, I'd much rather be honest with you and tell you what's going on than to basically try and spin you or basically mislead you, because at the end of the day, you find out the story anyways. So I'm here. I look forward to this challenge. I think Governor Huckabee has probably inspired me as much as Ronald Reagan. Having started with Ronald Reagan in the early days of his governorship, he always had an ability to motivate people. He always had his own core of convictions, and he had this great ability to communicate. I've looked for a long time to find a candidate similar to that, and I think Mike Huckabee impresses me as that kind of candidate. He can connect with ordinary voters. There's a lot of people running around talking about the Reagan days and who's the next Reagan. I was with the old Reagan, and I can promise you that this man comes as close as anyone to filling those shoes and having that ability to communicate.